So we have a guest. This is the first time Charlie has been into a space where he's going to speak, and I'll give you a little backstory on Charlie. Charlie went viral with a with a tweet that got, I don't know, I think it was like 6 million, 7 million, 8 million views on a tweet within a period of like 24 hours. It was a tweet that went viral, and he caught a lot of flack for it too. Um, I believe he used to be a pretty diehard, and Charlie, please correct me if I'm saying something wrong here. I believe he used to be a pretty diehard Andrew Tate fan. And then I don't know what it was, and we can talk about that, but he saw or heard something that changed his mind. And he made a tweet saying that he used to be a fan, but he's changed his mind. And that tweet went viral. It exploded. It completely exploded. Millions of views within 24 hours. And this is the first time he's been on a space. And Charlie, how you doing, man? You can unmute your mic. Hey, Charlie, how you doing, man?
Good, good.
Good, man. So I'll just kind of like set the stage for those who don't know. You used to be, correct me if I'm wrong, you used to be a pretty diehard fan, correct? Tate
Yeah,
fan.
yes.
So can you tell everybody, first of all, what was it that drew you to him in the first place? What type of messaging attracted you? And then what happened in regards to what did you see or hear that made you change your mind and go, I don't want to follow this guy anymore? Can you kind of walk us through
Yeah.
just kind of the cliff notes of what happened?
Yeah, I'll start from the beginning then. So it was before he blew up, I like saw some videos of him on YouTube and I thought they were pretty funny. I think at this time I was about 14, so I wasn't the most mature, but I thought it was kind of like funny. Um, and then I saw some clips, like when he did start to become a bit more popular, I saw some clips of like him saying some bad things, but I think I just thought almost like just to ignore it and just continue to watch him. And then all of a
You
sudden,
mean you saw some bad clips or things that you didn't really agree with?
yeah, but I
You
thought
mean?
I just,
Okay.
yeah, I thought to just like ignore it. So yeah, I continued to watch him. And then when he started to blow up, there was like a divide. And actually, at that time, it was when he did his final speech video. I think that was like late August. I actually stopped supporting him then, like August 2022. Because I saw that video of him obviously hitting the woman, and I thought that was just vile. But then when I saw his video, I think I was manipulated to think that it was what he said was true about it not being real, and it was just role play, and I fell for it, and it's what made me start watching him again. And then, so it was about September. I was just supporting him up until around his arrest. Like nothing really happened then. I just supported his message because that's what mainly brought me in. He's like how he spoke about how men were sort of like ignored, and I think I did agree with that message, but it was like the other things which I didn't agree with, and I always knew that he was shady. But yeah, I just chose to ignore it. And then when he got arrested, I believe that was like at the end of 2022, like right at the end. So when I started like actually posting about him on Twitter. I never posted about him, but that's when I did, and I almost set up like a fan page, like pre Top G and all that stuff. Yeah, it was a bit messed up. But I believe the
Hey,
message.
Charlie, let me ask you really quick, if you're comfortable with this. You said that you saw a message of his that was, how men weren't wanted. Or you said that at that particular, because you're a young man yourself. Did you feel at that stage in your life? Did you resonate with that because that was how you were feeling at the time? Like I don't feel wanted, or I don't feel like I really belong anywhere. And he's telling you that men are not wanted in the world. Is that kind of what pulled you into that? To
Yeah,
relate to that?
yeah,
I'm trying to make that connection. Yeah.
yeah,
So you that's how you felt. So when he said it, you're like, that's it. That's how I feel.
and that's what made it. That's what made me support him for so long, because I agreed with his message, and it made me want to ignore all the bad things he said, even though I knew that he said bad things. But
Charlie, can
yeah,
I ask you something?
yeah, of
Do you
course.
do you feel during that period that you were supporting Tate that the lessons that he taught, the good and the bad, do you think they changed how you were as a person? I mean, only if you're comfortable to say, did you think that the way you behaved was influenced by Andrew Tate in good ways or bad ways, and whether you'd be like willing to broaden out on that?
I think I definitely changed as a person. Like, I didn't really. I didn't take his like bad comments. I didn't start acting like a maniac towards women or anything like that. I think I just did decide to take care of myself more.
So, Charlie, when okay, so he obviously pulled you in, and he was able to tap into what you were feeling. And I'm significantly older than you, so I've kind of gone through that stage of my life. But I do have children, and I realize the difficulties these days of young men, and of course young women as well, growing up in the world. Things have changed. The world has changed. There's no denying that. And Andrew was really good at tapping into that. The troubles that young men are having, and the thoughts that they might be feeling at that time. So you got pulled into that. You went through the whole thing, and you said you created a Top G fan page, and you got sucked into that whole thing. And Sam, asked a great question. Did he feel like it changed you at all? Do you feel I wanna expand on that just a little bit. A lot of younger fans that I've had interactions with, when they're at that stage, when I look at their profile, and their profile is free Top G and Top G this, and they've got him in their profile picture, I've noticed there's like a level of anger with these young men. And a lot of them say some really mean things. Did did you feel that you changed as a person at all when you got sucked into that, when you were making the fan page, that you wanted to defend him
Yeah,
that way? Is that
absolutely.
normal, do you
Yeah,
think? Yeah?
I'll actually tell you a story about someone who's in the thingy right now, the space right now. Suzanne. I remember leaving a comment on her page, a mean one, just saying how she was wrong. I can't specifically remember what I said, but this was like, I think this was April 2023, so about honestly, when it 5 months before I stopped supporting him. I left a mean comment on the page. But yeah, I was definitely more of like a I defended him a lot, and if I saw a single post negative about him, I would be the first to like comment on it, saying that they're wrong, even though I didn't know. But it's the way he speaks and the way he delivers a speech, which like takes you in and makes you want to support him. And it's got such a way of speaking that his aggressiveness reflects how I act as a person without me even noticing that I was more aggressive. So when you said if I've changed as a person, if I didn't even realize until now actually, but yeah, I think I was actually a lot more aggressive and defensive under his name, and like, yeah, definitely changed as a person.
You said that there was a divide. Did you feel this sense of companionship amongst other Tate fans where it's us against them? Was that a feeling that you guys had? It's us. We're here. We're part of whatever Tate's doing. We're aware of what's going on, it's against the world. It's us versus the world. Did you have that feeling?
Yeah,
My son had that feeling. My son went through this. That's why I'm
yeah,
asking if you. Yeah.
definitely, yeah.
And then what changed? He There had to have been one point where you're like, okay, that's it.
Yeah, I can explain. So you know him, the key maker. Do you recollect that name?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And he's MIA. I've been sending him some messages.
I
Is he?
don't.
I don't know
Yeah, I don't know where he's gone. He's not been on for like 5 months. But anyway, so I started speaking to him when he was a Tate supporter as well. I found him on like some Tate news comment section, and I just started talking to him about the case, and we spoke about it. We were both supporters at the time, but it was around June when he started to start like speculating whether he's actually innocent or not, because his wife is a lawyer, and they were looking at the case file.
She's a prosecutor. She's a U.S. prosecutor.
Or I couldn't even remember.
Yeah, she's a U.S. prosecutor.
Okay, it's
Yeah.
my bad. So they started looking at the evidence, and I think he stopped supporting Tate in July, I believe it was. I was still supportive of Tate. I remember messaging him, like, trying my hardest to defend things I didn't even know anything about, trying to think of any outcome of why they could be innocent over certain evidence. I remember seeing the transcripts. I knew at the time it was messed up, but because I'd been supporting him for like 2 years, something like that, it felt so hard to just leave him. I knew he was a bad person at that time, and I just wanted to hold on, and I just wanted hope that everything people were saying about him was false. But I think at that time I knew that he was a bad person. I really was trying to hold on, but when the keymaker was sending me all that, all the evidence and everything like that, and I knew it was right because I've seen the videos of him literally saying everything he said. I just, it was too much. And in early September, I made that tweet, and that's pretty much when I stopped. It was actually very hard because it almost felt like I'd been betrayed, because I'd been supporting him for 2 years, something like that, and just for that to end, it was hard. But obviously, like you, Gadget, Suzanne, and many other names, all helped me and like made me feel welcome. But then I did all those tweets, and one of them got, what was it, 7.5 million views. A lot of hate came from that, from Tate fans. And
Yeah, talk about that, Charlie. So you went viral, and if I remember right, you privated your account afterwards because you got so much hate. Like the fans came after you.
the fans, and not the fans, actually, a lot of
Yeah,
anti-Tate
that's right.
fans.
That's right. Anti-Tates came after you saying that. Yeah. Explain that. You're right. You got it from both sides. I forgot about that. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it was almost weird because there was a lot of positive feedback from the first tweets, like you guys, a lot of people in this space actually. I'm seeing all the names and I recognise them. But yeah, it was a lot of good support at the time, and then it turned. I did that tweet. Some guy with like, I think it was, he had like 800,000 followers. He quoted the tweet saying, I think it was, if it's taking you this long to realise, then you deserve the hate or something. It was something stupid like that. And he brought a lot of attraction to the tweet, and then all of his followers came to me, like, just hating. And it got a bit too much, and I was literally getting, I heard you say earlier that you were getting death threats. I was getting death threats from both parts, both anti-Tate and Tate fans. It was like, it was just too much, so I had to turn off the comments, and I took a little break. I took like a 2-week break, and then I came back and everything was fine. But it was very stressful, and because I'd never experienced that much attraction, so I didn't know what to expect. And then I remember just waking up one morning and it had like 4 million views, and there was so many people just sending abuse, but there was some nice comments. But yeah, it was very stressful. And yeah.
Wow. Well, you made it through. You went through there. Somebody help me with this saying. There's a saying about something like going through the eye of the storm or the needle, or what is that saying? Somebody help me,
Gauntlet.
please.
I mean, he went
It's a
through
gauntlet.
yeah, it's a gauntlet, bro.
Yeah,
Like
yeah. You went
trial
through the
by
gauntlet.
fire.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Charlie, man, listen, man. I'm glad you are in a different place now. Let me ask you this: Do you feel better? Do you feel better? Has your thoughts improved, and do you feel less like you're missing, not being part of that group? Do you feel like you're missing out on anything, or do you feel like, okay, I'm out of that, I'm in a better place now? Are your
Absolutely,
thoughts more positive? Yeah.
absolutely. I've made 2 tweets on that now, explaining how much better I actually am as a person, and I know now that I'm a lot calmer and a lot happier to be out of a cult, which I felt like I needed to interact with 24/7. It was it was honestly too much, and yeah, I'm genuinely a lot happier and glad I'm out of it. And I look back at it now, the decision I made, and I'm happy that I made that one day. That one day where I thought enough was enough is one of the best days of my life, and I'm forever gonna cherish that moment. But yeah, to answer your question.
Wow, man. That's awesome. And listen, Charlie, I know you're nervous about coming up here, but can we give him hearts and thumbs up? This is his first time in a space. I know he was nervous coming up. Listen, man, it takes a lot of bravery to share your story and be honest about going through something like that. You went through a journey. Like you had a journey. You went through it, and you unfortunately caught a lot of flack coming out from both sides. But here you are, and you came out of this a better person. And I'm glad you made it out. Really glad you made it out, and I really thank you for sharing that story.
I thank you.
Pass it on, man. Okay, and if anybody asks, if you're wondering, and listen, I get asked this a couple of times a day, and the question is like, "You're such a loser. Why do you waste your time doing this? Ha ha ha! You're not going to make any difference." Listen, right
You've
there,
made a difference to me.
right there. One, if Team Matrix, as we call ourselves, collectively, if we helped even 1% put you where you are, it was all worth it. So
Definitely.
I'm glad you're in a better place, man.
Yeah.
So thank you for sharing. Listen, dude, you can stay on the stage. You're always welcome in our spaces. You know that. You know you're welcome here. So I'm going to move on. People have got some questions. Gadget's had his hand up for a while, but dude, awesome. Thank you.
Thank you too. All right.
Yeah, man.
Take care.
Cheers, man. Yeah. All right, Gadget. Wow, that was great. Thank you, Charlie.
I think
Well done, lad.
Borderline had a hand up before me. You can jump in.
Oh, okay. Borderline, go ahead.
Hey, it was just a two-part thing. One, to remind you that, Gadget was waiting. I didn't know if he could put his hand up. And I'm so glad that everyone was quiet when Charlie was speaking, because you understand what he described is the bond of influence that Andrew Tate has on people from afar. So can you imagine that influence right close to you in terms of these women, these victims in these cases, okay? The power that he wields over their emotions and their psychology, and then eventually their physical presence. Listen to how Charlie describes trying to break away from just the influence, and you'll understand that Andrew Tate has a powerful hold over the people really, really close to him. Gadget, thank you for waiting.
Yeah, no, well said.
Hey, Gadget.
Can you hear me?
Before you start, I have to say one thing. Somebody left a comment about Charlie. They said Charlie actually escaped the real Matrix, and yeah, I agree with that. Yeah,
100%.
Andrew Tate is the Matrix. Andrew Tate is the Matrix, and you got out, Charlie. Congratulations. Go ahead, Gadget.
100%. Yeah. Yeah. I've said this to Charlie and others that have been through similar to Charlie, and I guess I'll say it now. Especially in case any of these lads are listening, even those who think we're clowns and aren't ready to leave Tate's group. But and I said this as well in a comment. I was tagged in. I reckon it seems like a very young lad. I had my first YouTube call out video I had, and he was critiquing one of my videos and calling me a DNG and saying I was lying. And it was only had 2 views, but he tagged me and he put it in one of my comments, I think. And I left a comment, and just for a laugh, like, why would I comment on that? Just because it's funny. But broke down, answered some of his things, and I said to him as well. I said, look, you guys are. I don't have beef with you, really. Like, I even though you guys might not think it, but I truly believe that I'm doing and we are doing what we're doing in part to help you guys. And if you go through and come to the stage that Charlie came to, because I've had a lot of young lads I've spoken to who've felt a similar way to what Charlie described. I'll say None of us blame you for being misled, and don't blame yourself is the most important thing. Even those of you who are listening and think I'm a DNG, I hope you remember this for if and when you go through what Charlie's going through. It's not your fault. We don't blame you. You've probably, you might have even said some horrible things to us in comments, but we'll be ready to accept you and let you grow and come out the other side. That's what I want to say. So
Yeah, man, I second that, and I want to go back to what Thoughts said really quickly, because that I was just thinking about that while Gadget was speaking. Charlie went through that, and I know there's a lot of young men going through that because they fight with me daily, in large numbers. Um, he went through that from online videos and text on Twitter and live streams, and like Thought said, imagine living with that guy. Or no, I know actually the women didn't actually live with him. He put them in houses with other women. But just being the physical presence. If if young men like Charlie are being sucked into this from videos, and that power and influence and that hold on them, I can't even fathom what it's like in real life, like in person. The just unadulterated authority and power he holds over these women, and there's a good chance that over his friends as well. There's a really good chance that this happens with a lot of his male friends as well. I've talked to people who know him, and they said he's a really powerful force in person. So some people are like that. Some people just have that. Some people have that charisma, and they wield it the wrong way. Unrelated to that, I put Charlie's viral tweet up in the nest. He's got 7.5 million views on it, and most of those came within like 24 to 48 hours. And it's up in the nest, and all it says is, "I genuinely feel betrayed by the brothers, supporting them for all of these months just to find out it's all a scam." That was the tweet, and it went. And he's got a picture of the two brothers, and it went viral. Um,
Yeah,
Wild. And my opinion of why this went viral, because if you just read it, it's short, it's sweet, and it just sounds genuine. It just sounds like a genuine tweet of somebody who's let down. Like that's the vibe I get when I read it. It just feels like man, like I'm really let down, and I'm not gonna put a lot of thought into this. I'm just gonna write something short and sweet. And I think a lot of people just connected with that genuine feeling of that.